No, go back to sleep. Okay. I'm trying to give you guys a really good view of him before I back him away and start talking my ass off. Today is Saturday. Yep. And I am, sorry about that. I'm still here at the hospital looking a wreck. I know I look super duper beat. Yeah, that's because I haven't gotten much sleep over the past 2 days. But yeah, so I want to go ahead and talk a lot actually because Shahid is going out to celebrate. Um, I had him yesterday around 1 o'clock in the daytime, so I was in labor for 17 hours. Um, you guys know I had to show up Thursday night at 8 o'clock. What wasted most of the time, like from the hours of from 9 to actually 5, from 9 o'clock at night to 5 o'clock the next morning, was the fact that they tried to use Cervidil to induce me, which is a pill that they cut into quarters and put them next to your cervix every 4 hours. So I only had a half a pill, but that wasted 8 hours of time, like I kind of knew it was. So anyway, I showed up at 1 centimeter at 9 o'clock. By the time I was done with my 2 doses of Cervidil, it was like it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and it made me have contractions that were pretty decent, but it only made me dilate 1 centimeter. So I was at 5 o'clock the next morning, which was 9 hours later. I was only 2 centimeters dilated. Yeah. So then they started the Pitocin. Now, the thing is, the Pitocin, of course, is a lot stronger. Um, I started that at 5 o'clock. They started me off at 2, but every 45 minutes or so, like 30 maybe or less actually, I was asking them, and this is before I got my epidural, you know, I was trying to hold off while I work through the pain. And I was asking them, I was like, oh, well, can you up my dosage? Can you up my dosage? Can you up my dosage? So we went from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to 10 on how much they were giving me through my IV. I basically pushed it to the limit. And then he showed up. My doctor showed up at 7:30. I'm sorry. My doctor showed up at 7:30 to break my water, and yeah, he broke my water. I was only still 3 centimeters. I hadn't had my epidural then. They were like, "Oh, well, it's not gonna hurt. You're not gonna feel anything." Bullshit. I don't know if it's because I was not dilated enough to why I felt that, but yeah, I felt it definitely. I felt it. Um, I think the worst part about that was just the after feeling. Like I kept feeling like it doesn't even feel like your water bag is leaking. It feels like you're just pissing yourself every few minutes. Like whenever he moves and that gush of water keeps coming out and slowly coming out or whatever, because it didn't gush all at once. It just eased out basically. So whenever he would move, it would just ease out a little bit more, and it just kept feeling like I pissed myself, and it was full of blood because I started bleeding a lot as I was thinning out from the Cervidil, because the Cervidil did thin me out. It just didn't dilate me. So I was already bleeding a lot from that. Uh-oh, don't do that, don't cry. So anyway, um, what was I saying? Dang, you made me lose my train of thought. So anyway, he broke my water, and that was at 7:30. Um, After that, about 7:30, I was still 3 centimeters when he broke my water, like I said. But I think around 12. No, I got my after he broke my water. I'm sorry. After he broke my water at 7:30, my contractions started picking up like crazy, and I started having so much pain. Um, so I asked for the epidural. I got that around 10 o'clock, and I was still a little bit over 3 centimeters, but right at 3 centimeters, still at 10 o'clock. After I got my epidural, um, they were still doing the Pitocin around 10. They were still feeding me the Pitocin, which was not helping me dilate because I was still at 3 centimeters. But what happened while they was doing the Pitocin is he was face forward instead of turned around, so he could come out that way. Oh, that way. He was face forward instead, so he was facing up, which he was supposed to be turned around the other way. So they were trying to wait for him to turn around the other way so I could have him, because they were trying to explain to me that he couldn't fit through the birth canal that way or something. But yeah, and his heart rate started dropping, so they cut off the Pitocin. That was around, like I said, that was around maybe like between 10 and 11 o'clock. They cut out the Pitocin. And yeah, so they were talking about a C-section then, because he had already broke my water and I wasn't dilating, and he was facing the wrong way. So yeah, I had to wait and basically see if I could dilate myself. And thank goodness I'm gonna say by around from like 10:30ish, by like 12:30, I had dilated to from 3 centimeters on my own. I mean, on my own, 3 centimeters from the Pitocin to on my own dilating all the way to 7 centimeters, which I didn't feel because I already had the epidural. So epidural didn't really slow me down on dilating more than the Pitocin seemed to hold me up a little. My mom showed up. Of course, she was already here, but my mom showed up around 12:45, and I was still 7 centimeters, but from 12:45 to 1 o'clock, I somehow made it from 3 centimeters. I mean, from 7 centimeters from 12:45 to 1 o'clock, me being 10 centimeters and 100% effaced. So yeah, I did get a push. It did not take me that long. Basically, it was easier than I actually thought. I think I pushed for about maybe 15 minutes or so, and he was out. I just basically, I felt a lot of pressure. It felt like I had to take a bowel movement, basically, because even though I had the epidural, for some reason I could still feel like I couldn't feel the pain from the contractions, but I could feel when I was having one, and I could feel the pressure from the contraction, which let me know when it was time for me to push and when it was time for me to stop. So yeah. However, yeah, so everything went smooth with the pushing and me being able to feel when it was time for me to push, because like I said, I don't know, I felt my epidural all the way up here, to be honest. It came all the way up here, like from my toes to the top of my breast. But for some reason, like I said, I could still feel when it was time for me to push, and I could still feel the pressure from the contractions letting me know, let me follow my body's advice on when to push. So yeah, I pushed a few times, a little less than I thought I would have to, actually. When they told me, I think I pushed maybe about 6 times, and they were like, you have like they were like 4 more, if you push him like 4 more good pushes and he'll come out, maybe like, no, I'm sorry, she said 4 more contractions and he'll come out. So I was like, yeah, but they were still so, it was like a minute apart, but a minute seemed so far away for some reason. But yeah, he came out with a little bit of help. I think the doctor stretched me a little bit while he was coming out, but I wish he would have cut me, because he allowed me to rip. And I actually ripped, you usually rip towards the back area. I actually ripped in the front towards my urethra. So yeah, I'm in a lot of pain right now. but he sewed me up. Yeah, I wish he would have cut me towards the back. I would rather have ripped towards the back for some reason than the front. Um, I don't know. It seems that, I mean, as far as I can remember, a bit more painful. Um, but anyway, so anyway, he came out and everybody was like, ah, boo, crying and shit. Um, and he came out looking around. He didn't actually cry until they put him on my chest for about 30 minutes first. They took him right out and wiped him down, and they set him on my chest, which I was surprised because with my other son they didn't do that. They just took him away, and I think the reason that they did this is because his water bag was clean. Basically, it was I was leaking clear fluid, so he hadn't done anything for them to help me take him away and have to examine him. So he came out and they took him and they laid him on my chest. And I held him for a while, and then they took him over to which table? It was a table right over there. It was. Anyway, they took him to the table and they weighed him, and he was 7 pounds and 1 ounce. And then and he was what was you, boy? He was 19 inches. I'm sorry. Yeah, he was 19 inches. 7 pounds and 1 ounce. So yeah, he was like pretty normal size. He was bigger than my other son. My other son was like 6 pounds and 7 ounces. Yeah, and like 17 inches. So yeah, he was bigger. He was a bigger baby, not much bigger, but he was bigger. I honestly thought he was gonna be a lot smaller than that for some reason. I was gonna be like 6 pounds or right up at 6 pounds. But yeah, he was a good size. I'm sorry. He was a good size. So yeah. What's been going on so far these past 2 days? I basically have not slept much. After labor, that bullshit that they tell you about, oh, you can't walk after an epidural, you might shit yourself, da 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 da. Oh yeah, first of all, the fiber that I took actually worked. I did not shit myself. So it actually cleaned me out ahead of time, and yeah, I didn't. When I felt the urge to push, it didn't feel like I was about to shit myself, so I didn't anyway. But the epidural, I would say it leaves you numb for about, I don't know, after my birth, it left me numb for maybe about 10-15 minutes. I honestly was up walking. I want to say an hour and a half after I gave birth to him. I was up walking. So yeah. And he let me see. What else I want to tell you guys? I actually stayed up. Even though they did give me, what did they give me during? It started with a D. They gave me some strong pain medicine throughout my labor that helped me from getting the epidural so fast too. It was Demerol maybe or something like that. But you know how they say that they're still in your system, this and other. He was up for the first hour looking around. He wasn't like sleepy or nothing like that. He was up wide awake looking around for an hour straight when he first came out. I did not sleep 12 hours after I had him. Like I couldn't go. For some reason I couldn't go to sleep. Like I didn't go to sleep. I basically it was 1 o'clock. I stayed up, talked to my boyfriend, watched some TV, and basically sat here and stared at him, and messed with him. A lot of things changed from what I planned to do. I know that I told you all that I was actually going to bottle feed. Yeah. Or at least breast pump. He had other plans. I tried to give him those bottles or whatever. And I didn't have this top on at the time. I had wiped down and I came back and I was holding him. So I was trying to give him his bottle. He basically pushed it away from his mouth and spit the milk out and turned his head and latched on his damn self. I did not even put the titty in his mouth for him to latch on. He turned his head and latched on and started just going at it. And I was like, oh damn. And basically after that, like, he won't accept bottles. So I am trying to wrap my mind around the fact that I have to feed him between every 2 and 3 hours instead of every 4 and 5 hours. Because he will not take a bottle at all. He pushes it away and spits it out. So it looks like he had a little plan of his own. However, the thing is, he goes after the left breast. All I gotta do is hold him up to it, and he'll do what he's supposed to do. But the right, for some reason, he will not get on that. He won't get on it for anything. Like he has a hard time with it. But I'm gonna keep working on that with him. So yeah, I got stuck breastfeeding. I got punked by my own baby. So yeah, I'll be breastfeeding, skin to skin. Yeah, so that was one of the things that changed. The second thing that changed with Mr. Charming was, I remember I told you guys that I was going to send him to the nursery while I was here so I could get some sleep. Nope, because I mean that part is my fault. He is just too cute. Like, I keep wanting to stare at him, and his little cry just makes me want to jump up and, like, I don't want to leave him by himself. Like, I barely want to put him down. So, which I know that's going to have to change soon, but yeah, I barely want to put him down. I most definitely don't want to leave him. So I say I put him down. Like, I don't sleep. I'm sorry. I don't sleep with him. So I do put him down for a few hours in between while I get rest. But when he's back up, he's back with me. So that's why I look like this. And plus, you see, like, right now I got him. He was up like an hour and a half ago. And I'm still holding him. Like, because he's just so comfortable. Like, I don't even want to move him. He looks so comfortable. So yeah, that changed too. I actually ended up keeping him in the room. And I'm actually going to skin breastfeed. What else is up? So that is all basically for my labor and delivery story. Half of the shit that brought me to this hospital, other than this little tank top right here, which makes it easier for me to maneuver in and out of for him, I didn't use that shit. You can still see my hair. It's like fucked. And yeah, so I mean, I did have guests. It was just basically his friends and my mother and my sister. But I did not have the energy to get up and do my hair and put on makeup and fucking earrings and shit. I didn't have the energy to do that shit. So that's why I look like this. All of my focus has been like completely on him. Like, trying to get some type of, which is time for his feeding right now, so I'm about to wake him up. But yeah, trying to get some type of schedule with him as to, a pattern going as far as breastfeeding, because I've never skin to skin breastfed a baby before, so this is all new and basically scary to me because I wasn't going to do it. Like, I started to do it with my other son. I got scared because I thought he wasn't getting enough. I stopped and that was it, and he didn't get breastfed anymore. But basically, yeah, he's pushing me into it. It doesn't look like I have much of a choice, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Outside of that, just been bleeding like hell, and that is all. So I'm gonna show them to you guys one more time, and thanks for watching my video. thanks for wishing me luck, and thanks for the prayers and well wishes and everything else during my labor. And I will see you guys soon. And I'm trying to give you another closer one without, yeah. But he doesn't wake up much. I unwrapped him. It takes a bit much for him to wake up. Like, it takes I gotta turn the air conditioner on high and basically unwrap him for him to wake up. So yeah, and then we start. I take his clothes off and basically take my whole top off and place him against me, and then skin breastfeed him so that he could be up against me, and that works. That gets him going fast. So yeah. Alright, girls, thanks for watching. I'm going to sign off now. Okie dokie. Alrighty, good night.